Hello everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Mixed Reality Dev Days. My name is April Speight, and I lead our cloud advocacy spatial computing team here at Microsoft. And joining again today is our co-host Cassie Breviu from our AI frameworks team. How was yesterday, Cassie?
Yesterday was awesome.
Oh, good.
I mean, I'm biased because I'm here, I think, and I had a session, but it was really cool to see all the improvements and things that are coming and things that are now here. We got to talk to such amazing people yesterday.
Yeah, we had some really good guests. We had Jesse who joined us as well as Grace. We got to learn more about the MVP program. We also had a chance to learn a bit more about just in general MRTK3. And it's great to have that public preview that's available, which is available now. For those of you who want to go ahead and give it a try. Of course, we encourage feedback. We encourage for you to share what you're creating. And then we also learned about the hackathon.
That's right. And how to start contributing to open source.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
like the hackathon theme, which was like a new solution to an old problem, which I just think is really a really cool way to approach it.
Yeah, so really good day yesterday. We had a chance to learn from some of the folks over from the MRTK team, also updates from Unity as well as Unreal. So that's also pretty awesome. And just thinking back to just conversations from yesterday, it's just great to see some of the UI changes that are happening with MRTK3, also some of the UX updates that we have as well. And today we have a lot more that we're going to continue to learn, a bit more deep dives, I would say, within the sessions. And so as a reminder, we're here today to come and just touch base on what we see and observe throughout the different live streams. Some of the different sessions that are happening for Dev Days are going to be video on demand post-event. So therefore, for those who are not tuning in person, but who happen to be virtual, I would say, you'll be able to have access to those videos after the event. So that way you'll be able to see some of the cool sessions that we might have mentioned on camera, but we just didn't stream them yesterday. So you will get a chance, just like Cassie's talk.
Like my talk yesterday.
Yeah. How was it?
It was really good. It was really fun to hear all the questions people had too. So it's interesting. So my talk was how to use Unreal Engine with deep learning models. So Onyx Runtime, the team that I work on, partnered with Epic Games to create this neural network inference plugin, this new experimental plugin. And so we went through like different interesting ways that AI and deep learning is being used in gaming and like from the neural network perspective of AI. And and it was interesting because you have game devs aren't necessarily, or the XR people aren't, a lot of them aren't doing AI right now or doing machine learning. So it was kind of showing them like there's all these really great models, like on the Hugging Face Hub or on the Onyx Runtime Model Zoo that you can just go grab and use and start using in your project. And now with the Unreal plugin, you can get efficient inferencing with Onyx Runtime.
Yeah, I saw one of your scenes start to change when I stopped by for a little bit yesterday. I saw it, so that's pretty cool. Just looking really quick at yesterday to see if there's anything else. Oh, StereoKit had a lot of sessions. Nick had 3 whole sessions on StereoKit yesterday. There was a lot of interest, and more important, he'll be joining us later today for a conversation to learn more about StereoKit, and we'll be talking about a recent release that he just pushed this week. So for those of you who are familiar with StereoKit, awesome. There's more new things for you to try out, and for those of you who are brand new, there's still fun things to try out for sure. The sessions that Nick did yesterday, all 3 of them will be on demand. And so again, after the event, you'll have a chance to check those out. However, we do have StereoKit documentation available. And I mentioned early on yesterday that there are also videos that Nick and I put together to get you started with your StereoKit project. And for those of you unfamiliar with StereoKit, it is another option in terms of how you can go about creating your own mixed reality experiences. And you really just need Visual Studio, and you need the packages as well. And once you have everything imported into your project, you have the templates, you're ready to get started. There's no need to do any heavy downloads as well, and you can deploy to various devices, whether it's a HoloLens, but Nick was showing some things in VR yesterday. So you also have the option to deploy to a VR device as well. So we'll hear more from Nick on that later, but let's see what else did we have yesterday. In addition to that, we also had a chance to learn some more about the interaction building blocks as well for MRTK. And Finn and Roger, they did go through some of the different things that are available there. We do have some new things that have come down the pipeline. And in addition to that, as I'm just going through what we had yesterday, we had conversation regarding the rich UI for MR and MRTK. And so we had a chance to take a look at some of the UI changes. I really like more of the rounded corners. It's something about a rounded corner that makes me happy. Of course, that's not like the key defining change from a UI perspective, but it's something about that that just really makes me happy.
The corner radius gives like this nice flow. It's not so rigid, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes you need rigid corners, but not always.
Yeah.
So the new style updates and the usability and that kind of thing is super important. And I think there were some accessibility updates that are important as well that were needed. So
for sure.
Really cool to see those come in.
Yeah, and then one thing that we also learned yesterday is with MRTK3, instead of giving you the traditional, I think we had 4 packages, now things have been broken out a little more, so that way you're able to select the packages that you want to actually include in your project instead of having to add all these different things that might not necessarily be necessary. And so it does help keep things a bit more organized.
Totally.
So I shared yesterday that if you're wondering, well, what packages are there now? Within our documentation for MRTK3, we have things written out that explains an overview what's included in each package, so that way we can ensure you're adding what you need. Now, if you're wondering how can you actually get MRTK3 packages, the Mixed Reality Feature Tool is going to be your go-to place to retrieve those. It has been updated with regards to all the MRTK3 packages. There's also one in there as well for OpenXR as well. And I think we had some conversations and sessions yesterday on OpenXR. But in either case, that's where you can go and find those packages. And within our documentation, we have a link where you can go and download those. And once you have it downloaded and a new Unity project created, from there, you can select your packages and you can bring them into your project. So
I'm excited for today. Like,
same.
What do we have coming today? Let's see what our sessions are. So we
starting off, we have panel. Yes,
what are we talking about?
Developer community. Building developer community. And I feel,
super important.
Given our roles that we've had here at Microsoft, we have a lot of familiarity with building community. And
absolutely.
It's great we're going to hear from Sean Ong, and then we have Ivana as well, one of our MVPs.
Yes, excited that she's here.
Yes, absolutely.
And we get to talk to her later.
We do get to talk to her later.
Yeah.
We're going to have a nice long conversation with her later today, and so definitely tune into that. We get to hear more about some of the projects she's worked on. I know you were speaking with her earlier as well to get an idea of what she's been doing, so that will definitely be a lot of fun. And then joining also for that panel will be Gabriel. I've known Joe for a bit time now in this XR space, more so when I first started, so it was great to see him earlier today, but you all will have a chance to hear from Joe later on when the panel starts after we do our intro here. And then Jesse. Gotta love Jesse. Jesse's also part of that panel as well, so you'll get a chance to also hear some ideas from him. As we go on, after that, we have working with dynamic data and theming in MRTK3. So this is the panel I kept trying to talk about yesterday, but I didn't want to ruin the surprise because this is my newest, my favorite newest feature that we have with MRTK3.
And I don't really know anything about it, so I'm really excited to see that session and learn more about what they're doing. Obviously, I'm a data geek because I work in AI, so I'm all about that data. Show me the data.
Yes, yes. I think for those of you who are pulling in data into your own projects, or if you're looking to have something a bit more customized from a look and feel perspective, then you're definitely going to enjoy that session. Hoff and Yoon have a lot of great things to share as well. And once the session's over, then I can go on and on about it because there's just so much that I want to say about it. But I've mentioned yesterday, I've been playing around with MRTK3 for the past couple of weeks, and this is my feature.
And that's at 11:10 Pacific, so make sure you tune in.
But even more exciting, though, we have a full session with Azure Remote Rendering with Andrew, our PM for remote rendering, and I know you had an interest in that
well,
yesterday.
in the keynote yesterday, he showed some really cool stuff, and I'm like, I want to know how he did that.
Yes.
As a dev, my mind's always going back and like, okay, how do I pull that apart? How do I make it work?
Absolutely.
And so he showed this demo, but he didn't go into how it was actually working. It was just after he had used Azure Remote Rendering to show these really amazing scans that he created and was able to render quickly. So I'm hoping that we'll get some more information on how he actually went about creating those models or the 3D models and
and more important, he'll be here this afternoon to speak with us.
So we'll get to ask him questions
We
too.
have a chance to ask him some questions about remote rendering. I'm super excited for remote rendering. I had mentioned this yesterday that we do have a module on Microsoft Learn if you're interested to learn some general information about remote rendering and also learn how to render your own model as well. So we did a nice, great write-up for you all, and that's available on Microsoft Learn. But I would definitely say for Andrew's session, although it is just in person, again, it'll be available video on demand, so you all will have a chance to hear more with regards to what's happening over in Azure Remote Rendering.
The other thing too, if you tweet at us and you have questions and things that you want to hear about or you want answers to, we'll check social every once in a while in between, like during the sessions and such, and we can try to incorporate some of those questions. So definitely tweet out about what you're watching, tag Mixed Reality Days, and so we can see what kind of comments and questions you might have.
Absolutely. And the next session after that, I think it's also another one that you're interested in, which is HoloLens in vehicles moving platform mode. And so that's being able to be in vehicle, whether I think earlier we had talked about being on
like an oil freighter.
Like an oil freighter, and being able to make sure the holograms are actually still stable and they're more so oriented in the way they're supposed to. So there's a session with Joshua on that shortly after.
Rogue holograms just doesn't sound like a good idea. So I think this moving platform mode is probably pretty important.
Absolutely. And then it'll bring us into lunch, but during that time frame, we'll be chatting with Ivana at that time. So we'll have a nice long conversation, as we mentioned, with her. And after that, we're getting into open deploy everywhere with OpenXR. So I just mentioned OpenXR a moment ago. There's a package that's available in the feature tool as well. But I think yesterday, as we mentioned with OpenXR, that gives you the ability to code once and deploy to many.
Yeah, which is important. And that's actually something like the product we work on as well is with the same issue with machine learning models. Like it's not specific to mixed reality. Like that's a problem we always have. We have to do all this augmentation to our code or to, you know, to make it more efficient or this and that to deploy multiple places. So having a package that allows you to optimize and do different things that you need to deploy to multiple places is super, super nice. And then that way you can make your games on, you know, mobile or Oculus or HoloLens. Does it work on like VR and AR, right? So it's like literally any. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And so Roger and Curtis will be leading that session. And then also around that time frame, we also have an in-person session that's happening, and it's HoloLens 2, so Power Thermal Notification SDK, and its integration into Remote Assist. So I haven't done much with Remote Assist. I will definitely say that, but I do have some friends that do work, that do help out with that here within Microsoft. So Chuck will be leading that session today. Have you done anything for Remote Assist by chance?
I haven't, but I was actually talking to one of the attendees at the social yesterday, and he was showing some really cool ways that they were using Remote Assist and also how they were using different holograms for testing with the HoloLens. So they had these like big robotic arms, and they created these like really cool tests with the HoloLens, and they were able to have physical devices that like the machine works on, and then do testing through holographic display, and then also using Remote Assist for like on the work floor. So there's the like application and like the innovation that's happening in those types of industries with both actually AI as well though, because they're using AI in order to automate things, and then they're using XR and holograms in order to more efficiently build and test. So it's really cool to see those real world applications of the different things that we're building, and or that not we're building, but that the community and that are building.
Yeah, absolutely. And then after that, we're going to have a panel. This one's going to be live streamed, and it's going to be a Ask Me Anything, or I guess Ask Us Anything, with MRTK3. And so that'll be a chance to hear some questions from our audience. And I believe, I think they were also fielding questions from folks who were tuning in during the stream as well for some of the Q&As yesterday. So that'll be a chance to ask some questions to the MRTK team. So that's going to be happening. Just before that happens, though, we will be joined by someone as well. Cameron will be joining us for a conversation to speak about graphics tools. So we'll have a chance to chat with Cameron a bit more on that later. And then also to close us out, in addition to that panel for the Ask Us Anything for MRTK3, we also have MR and the web with Babylon JS 5.0. I'm excited for Babylon JS Anything. I know you are.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about it a lot yesterday. I'm such a fan of Babylon JS, and just also it's just the accessibility of using it for different types of developers, right? Because a lot of people they think, well, I have to learn C++, or I have to learn C#, or I have to learn Unity and Unreal, and those are big learning curves to like get into the field. And so I love Babylon JS because anybody that writes JavaScript can go in there and start creating these amazing experiences. So,
Yeah.
so I love what they're doing. I love developing with their product and or with their SDK and API. And so I am probably going to have to check that one out.
Yeah, you should probably definitely go sit in on that one. And so Ronan and Gary will be joining, or will be the ones leading that session. I'm excited for Babylon JS 5.0. I would say historically, not a web gal, but as I started learning Babylon JS, and I've done some workshops within the past 6 months for students, just teaching the basics, and I can definitely say I really enjoy it now. I'm kind of like converted to doing things, which is really great, but we've worked very closely with the team as well over the past couple of months, and one of the advocates on my team, Madoka, she actually co-founded a new Babylon JS community in Japan.
That's so cool.
It's really great times in terms of being a Babylon JS dev, you know, just creating things. And there's some pretty awesome stuff that you can create. And even so, the projects you create, they don't have to just only live, you know, on the web and only access it at a computer. You can also deploy to mobile. One of our interns last year, she did that as well. And the possibilities are endless, I would say.
think, isn't like the native package of Babylon JS supported on the Hololens as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's supported.
So yeah, there's a lot of good things you can do within there, and just even that I mentioned the mobile app that our intern Jing created last year. That's also a Microsoft Learn module as well. So if anyone's interested in learning, well, how can I create something with Babylon JS? There is an entire module, but also Babylon JS team, they have done a really great job with their docs as well. And so that's another place where you can go and find a lot of good examples, and you can find a lot of different playgrounds as well.
I love the playground.
Yes.
Like that's where I started, was with the playground and going in, and they have really cool examples in there, and they're like specific to like what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And so I really liked the playground. And there's also the Space Jam Learn module
Yes,
as well.
we worked on that together.
Yeah, and so that one I wrote the Babylon JS one in there, and you wrote the mixed reality headset one. So that's another good Learn module to get started as well.
Yeah, so there's definitely some resources available for folks to get started, and I think today's going to be great. I know I'm kind of sad that it's the final day, and I'm happy to have had a chance to see everyone. Last night we had the reception for in-person attendees, and it was just great to connect with not just folks internally at Microsoft, but folks who we've had a chance to chat with online for me for the past 2 years since I joined. You know.
That's the thing, is like there's so many people that we've seen online or connected with online, or even like employees from other teams, but since we've been remote, we haven't actually been able to meet them in person. So it's so cool to be able to, and it's amazing that we have the online community with us here as well.
Yes, absolutely. So given what you've seen so far, is there any sort of project that happens to come to mind that you're thinking of potentially trying out once you get back home?
Okay, so it's actually just continuing to build out the thing that I built.
Yeah, what is it?
Because I haven't had time to finish it. I finished part of it. So what it does is it actually does a style transfer model, and it changes the scene style with AI real time. And I did one that kind of looked like a painting, like there's a few different painting ones. But I would like to try to work on one that has a little bit higher resolution. Because the way it is right now, you probably wouldn't deploy it to a production app. And actually one of the devs after that came and talked to me, she had all kinds of like really cool things that she was like, I want to use this on mobile, and I want to do more photorealism. So photorealism is where you're taking real photos and applying it to 3D models and making them look photorealistic, which is a very similar type of model. It's more complicated than the one I built, so it's kind of really interesting to me, which is usually where I start, where I'm like, how do I do that? This seems really interesting. Like, how do I actually build it to the next level? So I want to do something with that. I'm also interested in doing maybe some mobile things with with like maybe the MRTK, the new one, trying that out. I haven't thought of what I want to build next though for like HoloLens or VR. Like that one, there's so many things to do. You know, I haven't like been inspired yet or not like inspired, but you know what I mean? Like when you get an idea, like I haven't had the idea yet. So hopefully it'll come to me soon.
I will say I've been keeping tabs of all the things I want to make in like a notes in my phone. And speaking of mobile, I was very fortunate. The mixed reality team was able to get me access to an Android device. So now the good thing is I think I'm pretty set on devices at the moment to create content.
Yeah.
So what's always important for me is, as our team is creating content around anything mixed reality, it's always great to be able to show that you can deploy it to various devices. So that way everything's not just only HoloLens or everything's not just VR. So as I'm creating content, as we're heading now into our new fiscal year, I'm able to create content thanks to OpenXR once and then deploy to the various different devices that we have. So that way I'll be able to provide some examples for folks for iOS as well as Android, as well as HoloLens, as well as MetaQuest, as well as also have another VR device as well. I think it's the HP Reverb. I think so. So I have a couple of devices I can work with, but my goal,
just a few.
Yeah, my goal is to ensure that I'm able to have something for everyone in the community. Just in case you don't have one device, there's another, and hopefully you'll be able to find what you need to actually create. So I'm excited for that. There's also some things that I'm really interested in doing more in the museum kind of space, I would say. Trying to see what can be created more on that level. From speaking with Andrew a couple days ago about remote rendering, he'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but there's some use cases in education that seems very interesting. So looking into doing that a bit more. And I actually went down to the our little history area downstairs here in Building 32 in the visiting center. And I'm thinking about maybe putting together kind of a virtual Microsoft History Museum. I don't know.
Oh my
maybe.
gosh, I love that.
I took a lot of pictures and videos, so when I get home, I can go back and create models and stuff, so we'll see. So thinking of doing something like that, maybe in Babylon JS, maybe eventually also porting it over into VR, throwing in some MRTK so that we can actually interact. Because what I really like about MRTK and projects I've created in the past is that because it's virtual, it does add that level of being able to actually manipulate and pick up things. And so when we go to museums and such, 9 times out of 10, you can't pick up whatever's in there, you can't touch it. But then you're also limited in terms of what you can also either read or hear. And so being able to bring in the ability to actually pick up virtual objects. I've added it in the past. I did a Neil Armstrong museum exhibit in VR where I was also able to bring in some text-to-speech and then, text-to-speech, so that way if you press the button, the output was an audio file that read what was ever on the wall for the museum exhibit. So incorporating all these different things that we have available under our nice Azure umbrella, as well as MRTK, to bring a really feature-rich experience. So even though I'm creating those as projects, more important, I'm hoping to turn those into tutorials for you all as well at home who want to create those sort of things. And then that's what I'm looking forward to. I know I got into 3D modeling a lot recently too, so hoping to be able to expand that a bit more. And I think just as a whole, there's going to be a lot of good projects that I can create that have come, not to mention everything with data binding and theming. I have some ideas up my sleeve for that one. So I'm super excited. I think as you all get a chance to check out Hoff and Yoon's presentation later, Hoff has some really cool demos that he's going to do too. And hopefully it'll get some gears turning in everyone's brains on what you can create. But I'm excited.
And it's there's no limit. That's what I love about the augmented and virtual reality is I feel like you can create whatever you can dream up.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes the open-endedness can be well, what do I do? And so that's why, seeing these sessions and seeing what they're doing and what you can do with them are the inspiration you need. I need. And you already have, you sound like you have a year's worth of work already, just planned out to go.
Absolutely. But the great thing is we're able to partner with so many folks across our mixed reality team and the Babylon JS team to bring all these different experiences to life. So I'm looking forward to continued collaboration. And everything that we've been presented with today, as well as and yesterday, I will say has been a really big, tremendous work with the MRTK team. So let's head into our first session that we have for the day. We'll see you all soon.